The summit of any mountain is a lonely place. It is a space where the air is thin, the pressure is immense, and the eyes of the world are fixed on whether you will stand tall or crumble under the weight of your own shadow. For a decade, one man did more than just stand. He became the standard. But greatness is never a straight line of triumphs. It is a jagged path of hospital beds, silent sacrifices, and the relentless courage to redefine oneself when the rest of the world thinks you've already reached the end. This is not just the story of a bodybuilder. This is a blueprint for anyone who feels they are fighting an uphill battle against their own body, their own circumstances, or their own doubts. This is the legacy of Chris Bumstead. And it is the fuel you need to realize that your own journey is far from finished. The genesis of a behemoth. Every legend has a starting point that looks remarkably ordinary. Born in 1995 in Ottawa, Ontario, Christopher Adam Bumstead was a kid who found his identity through movement. He wasn't born with the God-tier aesthetics the world knows today. He was a multi-sport athlete. Football, baseball, basketball, and hockey were his teachers. They taught him discipline, coordination, and the fundamental strength that would later support a world-class physique. At 14, he walked into a weight room to improve his sports performance, weighing a modest 170 pounds. Within 4 short years, through sheer hypertrophic stimulus and an unrelenting work ethic, he transformed into a 225-pound force of nature. He fell in love with the process before he ever fell in love with the trophies. When his mentor and future brother-in-law, Ian Valliere, saw his potential, the hobbyist powerlifter vanished, and the architect of aesthetic hegemony was born. Bumstead entered the world of competitive bodybuilding in 2014, winning his overall title as a junior at just 19 years old. By 21, he had secured his professional status. But the stage was about to demand more than just muscle. It was going to demand his very soul. The Trial by Fire, 2018, and the Invisible War. Most people see the 6 gold medals and assume the path was paved with ease. They don't see the emergency room. In 2018, just 4 weeks out from the biggest stage in the world, the man who was supposed to be the ideal was dying on the inside. He was hospitalized with massive systemic water retention and inflammation. This wasn't a training injury, it was IgA nephropathy, also known as Berger's disease. Imagine being at the peak of your physical power, only to be told your own immune system is attacking your kidneys. He underwent a traumatic 16-gauge needle biopsy and spent nights in the emergency room while his competitors were finishing their final shred. Bodybuilding, by its very nature, is toxic to damaged kidneys. The dehydration, the diuretics, the massive protein intake. Any normal person would have walked away. Chris Bumstead chose to walk back into the gym. He competed that year, placing second, carrying the secret weight of a chronic illness that threatened to end his career before it truly began. This is where the motivation lies. Greatness is not the absence of struggle, it is the refusal to let struggle be the narrator of your story. He didn't win that year, but he proved he could not be broken. The reign of the king. In 2019, the standard was officially set, dethroning the 2-time champion Breon Ansley by a single point. Bumstead claimed his first Sandow Trophy. That win signaled a shift in the entire sport, away from the mass monster era and back toward the golden age aesthetics of symmetry, proportion, and flow. For 6 consecutive years, from 2019 to 2024, he sat on a throne that everyone tried to take. He defended his title against the artistic posing of Terrence Ruffin and the Brazilian phenom Ramon Dino. In 2023, he faced a massive obstacle, a significant lat tear sustained just 10 weeks before the Olympia. Once again, the world saw a flawless champion. The champion felt a body that was screaming for rest. He won anyway. This level of dominance required a meticulous consistency that would bore the average person to tears. It meant consuming 5,000 calories a day in the off-season, including boring meals of ground turkey and rice, day after day, year after year. It meant training at high intensities, even when his heart rate was through the roof. It meant choosing discipline over desire every single morning. The architect building a $230 million empire. A true warrior knows that physical strength is only one pillar of a legacy. While he was dominating the stage, Chris Bumstead was quietly revolutionizing what it meant to be a professional athlete in the digital age. He didn't just sign endorsement deals for a quick paycheck. He became an owner. He partnered with companies like Raw Nutrition and Gymshark, choosing equity over endorsements. He helped build Raw Nutrition into a brand worth hundreds of millions of dollars without spending a single dollar on traditional ads. His secret? Authenticity. He spoke about his steroids, his hair transplants, his kidney disease, and his boring breakfast shakes. He didn't pretend to be a god. He showed the world the human being behind the muscle. His Sisyphus philosophy, the idea that the struggle is the reward and that the mountain is never truly conquered. He taught his millions of followers that you don't build a business or a body by chasing the finish line. You build it by learning to love the climb. On October 12, 2024, at the 60th anniversary of Mr. Olympia, Chris Bumstead did the unthinkable. He presented his most refined physique ever, claimed his 6th consecutive title, and then, at the absolute peak of his power, he walked away. No king rules forever, and he was wise enough to know when to hand over the crown. But he had one more gift for the fans, a last dance. Just weeks after his retirement from Classic Physique, he entered the men's open division at the Prague Pro. He went head-to-head with the mass monsters of the sport, men who outweighed him by significant margins, and he secured a stunning second-place finish. He proved that aesthetic excellence transcends divisional boundaries. He retired because he was no longer willing to sacrifice his health for gold medals. He chose to be a father to his daughters, Bradley and Blake, over being the champion for a 7th year. He chose longevity, redefining strength. In 2025 and 2026, Chris Bumstead has entered his hybrid athlete era. He is no longer training to be a stationary statue of muscle. He is training to be explosive, functional, and athletic. He is candid about the pathetic feeling of getting back into the gym after time off. He is open about the fact that he has lost 15 pounds of muscle and is training with fewer super supplements. He is setting new goals, running marathons, biking 5 times a week, and working on his fast twitch fibers to dunk a basketball again. He has transitioned from the champ to a man focused on build, fuel, and focus. He is showing the world that strength isn't just about how much you can bench. It's about how well you can move, how healthy your heart is, and how present you are for the people who love you. Why does Chris Bumstead's story matter to you? Because you are currently standing at the foot of your own mountain. You might be facing a health crisis like his kidney disease. You might be facing a boring grind in your business or your education. You might feel that your best days are behind you. The standard isn't a trophy on a shelf. It is the way you conduct your life when no one is watching. It is the decision to keep going when your lat is torn. It is the wisdom to pivot when your health requires it. It is the realization that you are unfinished. Your mountain is waiting. Your standard is yet to be set. It is time to get to work. Your story is unfinished. What if your story is only beginning?